Would I be the arsehole if I just tell everyone the truth about what is going on, even though it would ruin my husband's image? Plus update. Original post. I am dyslexic and have always been bad at grammar, so excuse me please, this is non-US. Okay, so my husband has been dealing with some major issues. We have not yet figured out what it is, but he has been dealing with certain delusions. For example, it all started 6 months ago when he was convinced he had caught me cheating because he found a document saying so on my laptop. When I arrived home and he tried looking for it to show me, he obviously couldn't find it. He is going to therapy, but as of right now, we are technically separated and living in different rooms. It's just because this keeps happening. A certain insecurity eats itself into my husband, and he becomes convinced that it's the truth. He either dreams proof or he just convinces himself that anything is proof. I don't know what he does with the therapist, but I honestly don't see it getting any better. Last week, he was mad at our daughter, 15, because she didn't want him to drive her to the prom and make pictures with her. When I went to ask her, she said that was not true. She had talked to her dad about what she would like to do when she graduates in 2 years. Her father just got really mad at the perceived slight. The problem is that he keeps talking to people about the issues. I was already wondering why so many mutuals stopped responding to me, but apparently they all think I'm an awful human being and terrible spouse. I just want to tell people what is going on, also so they are aware that my husband is basically lying to them, and for them to tell me delusions that he might be having that I don't know. But at the very beginning of his therapy, he begged me not to tell anyone because people would think he is crazy. My sister said that it would also be an arsehole thing to do that would basically feed into his delusions. I just feel like I am done. Am I the arsehole? Edit. We already did a brain MRI and nothing was found. My reaction for OP. Hey OP, I guess a bit of tact is called for here. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Comment 1. Is this therapist also a psychiatrist? I'm by no means an expert, but it sounds like therapy isn't what he needs, and maybe the therapist actually believes what he is saying as well. I think a more aggressive approach is needed. OP, he doesn't trust me, so he doesn't tell me. I know he gets professional help because he introduced us, but as far as I know, it's a therapist, not a psychiatrist. Comment 2. So, I'm assuming these aren't real actual delusions while giving this advice. First and foremost, if he hasn't yet, he has to see a neurologist to rule out any physical causes like a brain tumor. And second, can you have a therapy session with him and his therapist? Tell them what is going on with your friends and family and come up with a mutual solution. With the therapist there, they can help your husband and see how this is affecting everyone. In my opinion, this is really messy and could potentially devolve into a dangerous situation. It's not fair to anyone involved. I think if they are real delusions, I would need to tell those very close to us, only ones I knew loved him and would protect him, ideally with him by my side while I told them. But, and a big one, I would need to speak with him and his therapist about it first. This needs a professional, delicate hand to guide it. You need help with this too. You are at the very least someone, a friend or family member you can trust, to lean on, but you should also have a professional to talk to and help you cope with this. Not the arsehole, just needs to be handled in an extremely delicate way, with much discernment, professional guidance, and love as humanely possible. OP. Obviously, I am not in the medical field, but I can't describe them as anything else, mainly because we have not done any of the things he convinced himself of. For example, he was convinced our oldest daughter, 19, was pregnant because she said no to sushi, but she was just not in the mood for raw fish. So my husband obviously became obsessed with the idea that our daughter was pregnant. He would go to full rants saying, "How dare she? We gave her everything, etc." Now for the update. Update. I thank everyone for their supportive words, especially the people that have been through something similar. Thank you so much for sharing with me. It makes me feel less alone. Also, just because I've seen that a lot of people have not been able to read my first post, I have tried everything from getting him to a real psychologist to having him committed. I have tried with his doctor, with my mother-in-law, and with my lawyer. But he has not broken the law or actually assaulted me, just threatened to kill me and our daughter for being whores. But to the police, that does not matter, because we don't matter. So please, all the suggestions you have and suggestions to get him committed or that he might have a tumor or dementia or schizophrenia, please stop. I have no fight left in me. I also have no legal ground over him. I can't care anymore or drive myself insane. He still has a support net. He will never be alone, but that man is dangerous to me and my daughters, and the duty of a parent is above all else. So again, please stop suggesting what he could have or what I should do regarding him, because that job is no longer mine. First off, thank you all for your feedback and support. I took some time to process everything and honestly, I was at my breaking point. The situation has escalated in ways I never imagined, and I've made some tough decisions. After I posted, things started to unravel quickly. About 5 months ago, when my husband's behavior first started escalating, I quietly consulted with a lawyer here. At that time, his delusions had begun to affect our daily lives, and I knew I needed legal advice. The divorce process requires a period of legal separation before a divorce can be finalized. We initiated this process and I requested full custody of our 15-year-old daughter, given her increasing fear of her father. The court was also concerned and ordered a psychological evaluation for my husband to assess his mental fitness for parenting. A few weeks into the legal separation, my husband's paranoia worsened. He started placing Apple AirTags in my car and in our 15-year-old daughter's backpack, tracking our every move. My daughter was the one who found the AirTag in her bag and was terrified. When I confronted him, he insisted it was for our safety. But it was clear to me that his paranoia was spiraling out of control. This incident deeply affected our daughter, who began refusing to see her father. Around this time, my mother-in-law reached out to me. She was concerned because my husband had accused her of cheating on his father, something that was completely out of character for him. Father-in-law didn't believe it for a second, but was deeply worried about his state of mind. Her reaching out was a small but much needed relief. She acknowledged that his behavior was erratic and offered her support, knowing that something was seriously wrong. My older daughter, 19, had also become involved in the situation. She had been quietly documenting her father's behavior for months. She recorded 3 different occasions where my husband went on delusive rants. The first was about how I'm supposedly cheating on him with one of my co-workers, a man I barely interact with. The second was about how our 15-year-old daughter was secretly dating someone older and lying to him about it. The third was about how the entire family was conspiring against him to make him look crazy. Watching these videos was heartbreaking, but they validated everything I've been dealing with privately. Things escalated further when my husband almost attacked one of my colleagues. He had convinced himself that this man was the affair partner I was supposedly seeing behind his back. It took all my strength to physically separate them before the situation turned violent. As the legal process continued, my lawyer informed me that due to the severity of the situation and the psychological evaluation ordered by the court, my request for full custody was strongly considered. In Spain, courts typically prioritize the well-being of a child. And given my husband's mental state and the danger he posed, it seemed likely that I would be granted full custody of our 15-year-old daughter. She had made it clear that she didn't want to see her father, and the court was taking her wishes into account. In the midst of this, my 19-year-old daughter decided to take matters into her own hands. She posted the 3 videos she had recorded of her father's breakdowns on Instagram, along with a compilation of text, photos, and other evidence she had collected over the past few months. Her intention was to show the world what we had been enduring, but it quickly turned into a public spectacle. The backlash was intense. Some people were horrified and reached out with sympathy and support, while others criticised us for airing dirty laundry and accused my daughter of betraying her father. As the divorce process continued, my husband's mental health became a significant factor. The psychological evaluation ordered by the court revealed the depth of his delusions, particularly around cheating and female sexuality. It became clear that he was not fit to make decisions regarding our daughter's well-being. The evaluation supported my claim for full custody, and the court is now in the process of finalising that decision. In the meantime, all communication between my husband and me is being handled through our lawyers, and I'm ensuring that any interaction between him and our 15-year-old daughter is supervised. Given the severity of the situation and the damage done to our lives, I'm making plans to move away with my daughter once the legal proceedings are finalised. My reputation in our current community is shattered thanks to his delusions and the lies he has spread. Starting fresh somewhere new seems like the only way for us to heal and rebuild our lives. I never wanted it to come to this. I still care deeply for my husband, but I can't keep sacrificing our well-being for the sake of his image. The revelation that he's been lying to his therapist, or rather his unqualified life coach, was a breaking point for me. I realised I couldn't trust him to get better on his own. Thankfully, some friends have started to see through his stories and are reaching out to support us, which gives me hope. But I know it's going to be a long, difficult road ahead. For anyone else in a similar situation, please know that you're not alone. This has been the hardest decision I've ever made, but sometimes you have to do what's best for your own mental health and safety, no matter how much it hurts. Thank you again for all the advice. I'm hopeful that this is the first step towards a better future, even if it's a painful one. Story 2. My dad just randomly called me, told me my mum and him are getting separated, and that I have another brother from an affair 23 years ago. My mum and dad have been together for what would have been 30 years in this December. I just turned 23 last week. I live with the both of them. My dad is a truck driver, so he's not home some days, and he called me today and told me he had something serious to tell me. I immediately thought my granny had died. He just flat out said, "Me and your mum are separating." I asked if he was joking probably about 10 times. He wasn't. He told me that when my mum and him were grieving my older brother, who died of heart problems within months of being born in 1999, he had an affair with another woman. She ended up having a son, so he is my half-brother. He is 6 months older than me and my twin brother. My dad gave him his middle name. Apparently, he lives where I went to college and knows about us. I don't know how active my dad has been in his life. Anyways, my parents made the decision to continue their marriage regardless and not tell us about our brother. I asked my dad when they decided they were separating. Apparently, my mum has been avoiding the subject and has some deep-rooted trust issues. He decided it was the end. And when my mum said she wouldn't tell us, he decided to do it like effing this. He always gets very stoic and professional when serious stuff happens. He kept saying, "There is no other man or woman," and he told me it was just between the two of them and that therapy wouldn't fix it and he can't see it ever working out again. I kept asking him why, how did it get to this point? And he got mad at me and told me to stop asking questions. He said that he doesn't want me to have to choose sides, and so he'd rather me see him as the villain than my mum. Well, I effing do. I asked him if he'd ever tell me, and he said no. First of all, why are you telling me like this? He had more effing tact telling me we were moving states like when I was 12, even though he knew I'd be heartbroken. Instead of sitting me down and telling me like an effing adult, he calls me and abruptly drops this shit on me. I don't understand how you could think this is the way to do it. It was a 20-minute call before he hung up. He kept making me promise I'd be okay, and I talked to him if I was frustrated because of my depression and past suicide attempts. I told him I thought he was taking the cheap and easy way out by not telling me anything. He just said, "Maybe I am." Apparently he's moving out in the next couple of weeks. We literally just went out to the movies and to eat together multiple times, and we were all joking and laughing about their first dates and whatnot. there was one awkward moment when I asked how long they'd been married again, and my mum quietly said almost 30 years. I feel so effing bad for her. I'm more hurt by them pretending everything was happy-go-lucky than actually separating. I was just telling my boyfriend how much I'm excited for him to see my parents' funny sweet dynamic at Thanksgiving. Now we're probably not even doing anything for Thanksgiving. I have always seen their relationship as my goal for love, and I have that with my boyfriend of 5 years, but now I just feel kinda lost. I love them both terribly, but I feel like everything's been shattered. My dad is a liar and a cheat, and my mum is a victim, and I never knew. My poor mum was sobbing to me earlier today about other family stressors, and now I realize it was probably mainly about this. I can't imagine what she's feeling. She's texting me normally and probably doesn't know I know yet. I decided to tell my twin brother before my dad told him because he can be quick to anger. I explained them separating and was telling him we had another half-brother. We have 2 half-brothers and a half-sister from my dad's relationship before my mum. And before I could say his name out loud, he said it. Apparently, my shitty half-sister told him years ago, and he wasn't sure if it was true. He got pissed thinking about the affair, so I dropped it and asked him how he felt. He broke down crying, saying our dad was his superhero. Honestly, mine too. And that everything he does is to make him proud, even what he's majoring in right now. Then he said he's going to move back home to try to fix things. I told him that wasn't likely, and he said he'll move back anyways to take care of our mum. I think I'm in shock. This wasn't what I was expecting to go through today. My favourite aunt, my mum's favourite sister, just had a stroke. My nana is blind, but is claiming she sees people in her house and she might be moving in with us. My elderly dog is currently not eating and I'm on my effing period. I talked to my boyfriend about it and he summed it up well. Either it really was just trust issues gradually breaking down the relationship, in which case, why didn't they both sit down with me and have an adult conversation instead of pretending they're happy? Or he lied about there not being another woman and is just trying to save face. I'm going to stand up for myself and demand some sort of explanation, or at least an apology for springing it upon me so abruptly. I've never been mad at my dad, but I'm pissed, and I don't even know how to broach the subject with my mum. I feel horrible for her. It honestly doesn't feel real. After sobbing for a while, I've just been laughing about it. Edit. My mum had no clue he was telling us. She said he brought it up last month and that she thought they worked it out, that she was never acting and still loves him, and that it was solely his decision. I reassured her I wasn't upset with her and loved her endlessly. I think my dad is the villain. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you.